Yes, sir. We here one more. One more. Just different. Episode 66. Yo, I don't know what it is. It's probably really grown up Christian, but there's something about them sixes that just never hit. Like never sit right with me. Like
Every time,
it
man.
never sits right. Like I was thinking about it last week. I'm like, oh, then we got episode 65. And I'm like, yo, we probably should skip over
We should
66.
just do 67, bro.
I was like, we better go
saying.
straight to 67. Like I don't even know how I'm
it
feeling
is.
about it.
You ever like got a transaction at the grocery store and they come out to the 66?
What the three? The three?
Yeah, I was like, nah.
Not the triple. The triple's crazy.
Let me get a pack of gum to add on to the transaction, bro.
Has that happened to you before?
Yes.
That's nuts. That's crazy. Wait, hold on. You paid? Oh, I was thinking 600. I was like, you ain't never got the
I
purchase
don't got money
that.
like that. Nah, that's crazy.
It was
I'm at $66.06.
right. No, something like that. Yeah. No, that's nuts. No, okay. I wanted to ask you how you feel about this weather,
Nah.
and also so for context. So last week, I want to say which maybe had to be like Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
We live in Louisville here, like in the Midwest, and last week there was a day, and it was about like I want to say like 75, 80, which was like ridiculous. Like it was given like summer 16.
It was nice, bro.
Like we was like riding like windows down, like
Yes.
then control
The whole nine, bro.
control, like play, like it was crazy. And then this past weekend, I want to say Saturday, we weren't here, but apparently it was snowing like the entire day.
Yeah.
which was crazy too. And then
It's
since then it's been like 30 and below, like absolutely freezing.
crazy.
And then of course, like in true Midwest fashion, today we step out, we're coming here to the studio, and I mean we see the snow just coming down.
Start snowing, man.
It was
Start
just crazy.
snowing really bad. But the weather, I'm just not a cold type of guy, so it's just a no for me. But what are you thinking?
It's not your.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
I personally, I don't know. I can't. I don't know. It's like a love-hate thing because
okay.
it's different as you get older. Of course, like it just don't hit the same, like the snow and stuff.
It doesn't.
But I feel like today when I hopped in my car after like I got out of the cold and like it warmed up. I don't know. I don't know that feeling that like after you're cold and you get like a warm like spot.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like that contrast or whatever. I like that.
Okay.
It makes it feel like Christmas,
You're
and
right.
like fall.
You're right.
Well, winter.
That's fair. I just don't like feeling cold in the first place, though. That's just me.
No, yeah. Well, the heat in your car don't work.
Why are we? Now we're lying to the supporters and the listeners.
Your heat don't be hitting like
It
mine.
just takes 3 minutes to warm up.
this
bro.
faulty car.
You just gotta drive it for 4
I'm just
minutes and
playing.
30
It takes
seconds.
a little bit. Yeah. I'm not gonna hate on you, but
You just
no, you
gotta
ready?
drive it for
Let's
5
get into
minutes
it.
and
You
10
ready?
seconds.
You
All
ready,
right,
bro?
let's get it.
All right, yo, what's up? It's your boy D Starks.
Starks Artist.
You are now tuned in to the Just Different podcast, where we talk about everything faith, life, and culture. We're back for another week, another day. So Thanksgiving is coming up next week.
Soon, man.
So it's about that time of year, man. About that time of year. Christmas trees going up. Some people already got theirs
I
up.
know they on it.
Yeah, y'all let us know like what y'all's tradition, what y'all got going on when y'all like putting the tree up.
Talk to us.
This is our first Christmas living by ourselves,
Right,
so
so
I'm
we-
not completely sure whether or not.
what to do or
Well, I Jordan mentioned it last week that we should probably get a Christmas tree.
yeah, for sure.
And I wasn't opposed to it, but it's just like, am I gonna go out my way to do it?
yeah, probably not.
So we'll see what happens, but hope everybody enjoys the holiday next week. That falls on a Thursday, so should we drop next Thursday or something just doesn't feel right about dropping Thursday.
Yeah,
But should we?
I guess.
I don't think it should be a problem.
Yeah, it should be fine.
We'll figure it out. But
yeah.
so just be expecting that Thursday. But yeah, I guess we're gonna get into this one.
Let's go.
We're gonna hop right in. So
Let's
look,
go.
I miss the old me.
I do.
I miss the old me. So getting ready or like prepared for this episode, this was, I want to say, like maybe like last week or really like a few days ago. We're like sitting down, we're getting ready or getting prepared to like write down the list of topics that we want to finish ending off the year with. And I'm kind of just like in this like funk and kind of block of like not really figuring, like knowing, okay, like what can we talk about? Like what's the next kind of like move or step or topic that we can speak on? And then I don't know, I'm just thinking in my mind, like, dang, like speak from like where you're at or like where you've been, like, you know, sometime this year, like in the past. And the first thing that comes to my head was I miss the old me.
Man.
And like this is gonna be different. a different conversation than what we did. I think it's episode 64. Don't stay here.
Yeah.
And it's because like this isn't necessarily about like being stuck or paralyzed by like old memories, but like still being attached to old like habits or the past version of yourself.
Yeah.
So like when it comes to like old cycles, environments, and relationships that like no longer serve you, you know, because like I think we mentioned this one time before, but it's like, so how do you deal with the moments when you want to go back or you're tempted to go back to the very things God delivered you from?
Exactly.
You know, like, you know, whenever that number you should have deleted, you know, from your contact, but you in a mode where, dang, you trying to spin, you might want to spin the block.
Right.
You thinking about sending that text. You feel what I'm saying? You know that the functions you finally stepped away from, but you got this, you in this mode of like, dang, should I slide this weekend?
Should I go?
You know, like what happens really like in those moments?
Yeah.
Because sometimes, like even in freedom, bondage looks more comfortable, and that's like the mindset or like that deception or a lot of the enemy wants you really to give in. And the reason for that is, of course, like when you're living in your sin, you're not actually fighting it at all, right? Like
Exactly.
you've yet to step into like a righteous standard of living, like to give you that conviction to know like when you're not living right, because it's not you're not fighting anything, because you're just sitting, you're living in it.
Yeah.
So whenever you actually like take that step to like give your life to God and like or make him Lord of your life and like start taking those steps of living the standard that he has for you, it's a fight, right, to stay free, stay away from temptation, the desires that you have, and sometimes like attempting to live righteous and holy to God, like it can feel as if it'd be easier just to give into those things at times, right?
Yep.
And I think it's because sometimes like the standard, or that like the consecration or like the know of God, right? Of the things that he's calling you to like remove or restrict out of your life can get, I don't know, like frustrating sometimes, like maybe like even irritating in some like seasons. And it's because really before God gives you the promise, he's always going to refine you to a person who can handle it.
Most definitely.
If that makes sense.
Most definitely.
And like that refinement process of him like molding you into like where he wants you to be and becoming more like himself, right? Is like that. It's like that's where the battle lies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you like having these thoughts of like, dang, like yo, I keep fighting, I'm fighting, like, you know, this temptation and like, you know, consecrating myself and setting myself apart. But it's like, man, like it was, you know, life is probably easier about like
it looks real
a
good.
year ago.
Right.
You feel me? Like, man, about, you know, when I used to roll with them, like it used to seem, but that's like, you know what I mean? That's like that lie, like I said, the enemy wants to give in your mind. Like, how do you deal with those moments of like temptation of like feeling back, like, dang, like I miss the old me.
I miss the old me, man.
Yep.
Everything you've been saying is, I think I've been in this season right now in my life, and it's like this like middle ground, I guess you could call it, where it's like you said, it's like you've experienced the fullness of God and that walk with him, but there's also a part of you still kind of like, you know, that's drawn to who you used to be, or like the things you used to be able to get away with and used to be able to do. And something God revealed to me is that in this mindset, or in this place, I was serving God from a mindset of there's nowhere else for me to go, instead of out of a mindset of there's no place I'd rather be. And it's like you love God, right? But it's like with this like undertone of like, I don't really want to be here, like undertone of even like a resentment even. But something that I've really been meditating on is like a question that has been getting me like out of this mindset and like helping me navigate through it is, would you rather be losing a fight that you never knew was happening, or be fighting a battle that's already won? And you would think that's a no-brainer, but I think for some people there's like hesitation there, because like you said, there's a lot of comfort in you know where you used to be, and sometimes the chains can look fun and the prison can look like a playground, you know what I mean? But I think that the temptation comes where what the enemy will try to do is convince us that the struggle is bad, or like, you know, like when you feel like you're going through a season where you're struggling and like there's this like this fight going on, you think like you're losing, when in all reality it's like the struggle means you're winning. Because if all you can ever do is win, then all you ever need to do is fight. That's something I've been reminding myself of. Like with God, the battle's already won. So when you're in the struggle, it's not something you need to run away from. Or when you're in the struggle, it's not something that's bad. If you're struggling, you're winning. If you're struggling, it's good. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that
What do you mean by that?
if the battle's already won.
Okay.
You see what I mean? So in this tug of war, or when you're in situations where you feel like you're really like struggling, like fighting against like things in your mind, or fighting against temptations, whatever the case may be, what the enemy tries to do is he wants you to throw in the towel essentially and raise a white flag, because he understands he can only win if you're not fighting. That's the only way he wins. So if you can only ever win, all you ever need to do is fight. So that's what I mean by that. And that's something that's helped me through,
like in terms of like wrestling and not giving in. Like I said, like when in the moments where like you're living in sin, that's when you're not actually like fighting it or trying to overcome it.
Exactly.
So when you're in that moment of, or in those stages, like obviously really walking with God for real, and actually like giving those blows, like to not like just give into that temptation and those pulls that are coming to you, is when like you're taking those steps to really progress.
Exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So give me an example.
An example.
With anything.
With anything. I guess, I mean, if you're struggling with like lust, for example.
All right.
Right? What that you winning would look like you fighting back and not giving in to those thoughts and those temptations. You are winning. You're only losing when you stop fighting. And you're no longer in a tug of war. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that's the example right there. You can't give into it. You gotta wrestle with it. That's what you need to do. You gotta wrestle with it.
No, okay.
Yeah.
I got you. No, that makes sense. And that's fire, and I like that. Like that, just the idea of just that wrestle and that back and forth isn't necessarily meaning like I saw Emmanuel Heke, shout out Church Boy Confessions. He had made a video and it said that sometimes it feels like the devil will be winning, but does that mean that God lost? Because he referenced J. Cole's verse, right?
Yeah.
And it's that whole idea that sometimes, like in this fight or me trying to like get away from this temptation, it can feel like, dang, like am I really even winning?
Am I losing?
Because these thoughts are here, or these desires may be here, but as long as you're continually to like move your mind, right, or cast down those imaginations, those thoughts, and those desires, keeping them captive, I mean, you're moving forward.
You're moving forward, bro.
Yeah. So I like that. And whenever I was thinking about this, there was something that really came to my mind. It was the idea that rest is always needed when you're carrying too much weight.
Okay.
And it's the idea that whenever we're in this process of like sanctification and God is really like refining us and like we're just going through like these trials to like, discipline us more to where we need to be and the person that he wants us to become, I think sometimes we can forget that we're supposed to do that through his spirit rather than like in our own strength. And so we can get in modes where, like if you've ever fallen into like some type of sin or, you just been in a moment where like, you just failed some type of like test or gave into a temptation.
Right.
And after that, I guess you're like maybe in like too much shame or condemnation to go to God, get in your prayer closet or read. So what you'll do is you'll start making like your own game plan and strategy for how you're gonna get out of your sin. Right. So like you're gonna be like, okay, like, well, like, what, I'm gonna text like this person. Maybe they can be my accountability partner, right? I'm just gonna like, okay, I'm gonna delete that app. I'm gonna block that website. I'm gonna get off social media for a little bit. You know what? Like I'm just gonna I guess I'm gonna just delete that contact or like whatever it is. We start like strategizing like on our own without ever like actually going to God for like his help or his spirit, right? And so I think that's kind of almost similar to like, in this process of like him like cleansing us. I think we can have a tendency to like take the rag from him. Yeah. Right. And like, what, like, like I can do this myself. You know what? Like, you fall into something like, what, wait, I got it, God. Like, let me get this. Yeah. Like, I know what areas like I need to hit, like, and to like clean off. I got you. And the problem with that is there comes a moment where like you can literally, there might be a spot you can't reach. You feel me? Like you trying to get to the back. You trying to get to that spot in your spine. I can't reach there. You can't reach it on your own. You can't get there. And then this attempt, right? Like kind of like pulling all these together, like you trying to reach to get these spots or whatever. You trying to like go on your own, making these game plan and strategies of like deleting this and moving that around, which is all necessary, right? But without his spirit, like, what I mean, you can't. It's not going to mean much. Like you need him to like ultimately get you through it. So I'm not saying those things are bad, but doing it like through your own strength, right, is something that is just something that you can't do. And so in this attempt to doing all of this, like you're literally like getting spiritually, emotionally, and mentally exhausted, right? Like trying to do it in your own strength or whatever, because you're carrying weight. Like I always say, that was never meant to be yours. Yeah. It wasn't yours to carry. And so now, like, rest is inevitable, right? So rest is inevitable when like you're carrying too much weight. And so in those moments where I'm trying to like carry this weight of like trying to like sanctify myself, make myself righteous, and like walk this standard God's called me to, you're gonna try to find rest.
Yeah.
And so what I said was, since I'm already trying to cleanse myself on my own, I'm probably gonna try and find rest on my own too. And I'm going to go rest back in the very thing I'm trying to get myself out of. So it's a sense of like, oh, dang, like now you're like extending yourself, trying to like put on weight that was meant to be God's. So now you're spiritually like depleted, right? And now you need to find rest. And since you're not going to go to God, you're probably going to try to find that on your own in other places. And that's where this comes back into like that I missed the old me, like, dang, like, this fight is too hard because you're doing it for like by yourself and through yourself. So now I'm trying to just go back to my old ways that were so comfortable because I never heeded his hand to help me actually get through what I needed to.
Exactly.
So I think that that idea of just like really understanding the fact that you have to walk with God through this whole thing with his spirit for you to really get to like where you need to go, because you can't do it for yourself. And so sometimes like these moments can come from places of like exhaustion because you've been trying to carry the weight on your own. And you get to a point where it's just like, dang, well, it was easier 3 years ago before all this. Yeah. Right? Because you got too much weight.
Walk with God. I like that. That actually reminded me, that's something that he had revealed to me very recently, is that something that I was doing is, like you said, I was kind of like running with all these issues and stuff that I was trying to get rid of. And I was like kind of like chasing after God in a sense. But I was watching Tim Ross, and something he had said is like, God doesn't want you to chase after him. He wants to walk with you. And I think some of us, that's what we're doing. It's like we're kind of like chasing and we're running when it's like God's like, oh, hold on, let's just walk, bro. Like, let's just walk. Like, walk with me. You're running, and who you chasing? I'm right here. You know what I mean? So
who are you chasing?
Who are you chasing?
Let's just walk.
Let's just walk. So that's something that he's revealed to me, and that's really blessed me and helped me so much. It's like, bro, like God just wants me to walk with him. And in doing that, that's where you will start to find your rest. That's where you will start to let go of the weight that you don't need to carry, right? And like everything else will fall into line. So yeah, walk with God, bro.
I like
that's
that.
A bar. And I was also reading something else that helped me and blessed me. Was I was reading in Numbers 14:4, right? And this was when the Israelites, they were, we know the story, how they came out of Egypt, and Moses and God brought them out of Egypt. And this was the moment where they were thinking about turning back, right? They're looking at, these enemies and all these trials and tribulations that they're going to have to face in front of them. They're like, I don't know, right? And in Numbers 14:4, it says, they said to each other, we should choose a leader and go back to Egypt, right? Back to the bondage, back to the prison, right? Like we're talking about. And the response from Moses and the leaders, it says in Numbers 14:5, it says, Moses and Aaron fell face down in front of the whole Israelite assembly gathered there. Joshua and Caleb, who were with them, said to the entire Israelite assembly, the land we passed through and explored is exceedingly good. If the Lord is pleased with us, he will lead us into that land, a land flowing with milk and honey, and will give it to us. So something that I noticed with that is like, their first response to the people wanting to go back to what they were once in was reminding them of where they were going. And I think translating that back to this conversation is that's something that we need to do when we find ourselves in these moments where our past is looking real good, right? The change is looking real good. Reminding ourselves, okay, like what am I walking into? You know what I mean? Like what am I getting though? And something I was reading in what was it called?
It was a book?
It was a book. It was called The Screw Tape Letters by C.S. Lewis. He says, we always picture the enemy as putting things into our minds when in reality, some of his best work is done by keeping things out. So most of the time, it doesn't start with you necessarily missing what you lost, but really forgetting what you're getting. I think with the Israelites, it wasn't even so much that they missed the prison. It was just that they were forgetting the promised land. I think that's really what it was. So sometimes that's the key. Is remembering what you're walking into. So yeah, I think that's something that you also have to keep in mind when you're doing these.
That makes sense because I think it's a pretty common saying, but it's the idea that like people fear what they can't understand. And so sometimes like when you're walking with God and the future of like where he may be taking you, or the abundance that like it's promised that you should be walking into, or that at least should be coming, isn't clear, like that may be fuzzy, it may be like disoriented and you can't see it. A lot of times like that creates like a fear and a panic. And so from that fear or panic, I'm going to run back to what I always know.
Exactly.
I'm always going to run back to like what is comfortable because I maybe can't see it as clearly as I once did, or at least want to in this moment.
Yeah.
And so I think that's important to always like keep that in mind too, because that could be like another reason that like maybe like provokes people to like have that thought or like that temptation of like, dang, like it used to be better here, just because of like you don't see that future.
You don't see it.
Yeah, because you don't see it. And then there was something else that, because I guess this conversation really reminds me of people don't use, I don't know if people really like use this term anymore. I don't know as much like backsliding though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that in a minute. Have you?
I really haven't.
It's been a minute.
It's been a while.
I feel like that's like old church.
I feel like that used to be a hot word, though.
I'm saying. And so whenever I was thinking about that, or at least like the temptation to backslide and go back, go into those things.
Yeah.
I was just looking a few things up, and there was something that stood out to me, and it said that our desires and sins are intertwined. Sin always develops roots in the place of our desires. A person that indulged in stealing did not just decide to steal. There was first a desire to do so. Therefore, if you learn to be intentional in aborting desires before sin is conceived, transforming your mind, and living out a life of obedience, backsliding will soon become a distant memory. I thought that was good, which is something I think we've hit on like just a few times before, but the idea that like there's never a point where you just wake up and like just fall
At all.
or like just like very very rarely, like if there's something that's always like premeditated in a sense. Like there's always, like they mentioned, like that desire or that yearning that you always have first before you actually decide like to take an action. So I think when it comes to even this, it's always good to be like more proactive in it. Right. And not just wait till like after the sense. So like in these moments where, okay, you're feeling that like temptation, that pull, that desire to go back to this, or to like, okay, run to them or that environment that you used to be in. Like I said, aborting those desires as they come. So it's like, it's not necessarily desire or like that temptation that is necessarily the sin. Like you mentioned, I guess it's really just piggybacking back on that point. It's whenever you act upon that. And so it's like, okay, when you get that thought, obviously from that point, as it talks about in the Bible, is casting down those things.
Casting it down.
Right. As it comes, like initially, rather than just allowing it to like, consume your mind. And then like at that point, it's going to conceive like sin. Yeah. So I thought that was important. Just like at the initial point, like not even allowing it to like continue on, because sometimes you can just rationalize like, oh, okay, and sit with it. You know what I mean? Like oh, it's not too bad to just think. Right. You know what I mean? I wonder,
meditate on that thing. Like, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah, like, oh man, I wonder if like, dang, it did used to be nice, and it was nice, but we was lit over there.
Thinking
bro.
On it.
Yeah, I remember we used to go out, bro. Yeah, we was in the club, bro. Like, man, I remember, I used to hit shorty like 2 a.m.
Oh, man. Like, matter of fact, I got her contact on my phone right now.
Right now, like, let me just like go through these pictures, with, like literally, and then
it builds
at that
up,
point, 100%,
exactly.
100%.
I've been there before, bro. I'm not gonna lie, but I was looking up some statistics on like prison. I was looking up statistics on. I was looking up statistics on convicted.
Spit it out now.
My fault. My fault, gang. I was looking up statistics on like convicted felons, and I came across this like crazy stat. It says 82% of people incarcerated in state prison end up going back within 10 years of their release. I thought that was kind of crazy, and I can't 100% say for sure, but I feel like in a lot of these situations, 9 times out of 10, it was probably because. Dang. It was probably because once they left, right? Well,
it could be 9 times out of 10 is probably crazy to say.
Maybe not 9 times out of 10. I think one of the things it could be, is maybe they got out and they were surrounding themselves with people that were encouraging the same types of behavior they were doing beforehand. You know what I mean? And they weren't surrounding themselves around people who were pushing them to not remain the same, right? And to change. So this is actually piggybacking off my last point in Numbers I was talking about, right? You need a Moses. You need somebody who is going to remind you of what's in front of you, right? Because sometimes you can tell yourself, oh man, like yeah, I'm fighting a good fight, but this is here, this here. But sometimes that's not enough. Sometimes you need somebody who's going to hold you accountable and who is going to remind you of what's in front of you, right? Someone and someone who's unfamiliar with the comfort of your chains, because understand Moses wasn't in bondage with the people in Egypt.
Talk.
So you need to surround yourself with someone who is not familiar with the comfort of your chains. Because I know something that we try to do is we try to find accountability of people that struggle with the same stuff we struggle with. But I feel like that's not gonna work. You gotta find somebody that's strong where you're weak. You know what I mean? So that when you're weak, they're like, they don't cut you no slack. Like, nah, bro, come on, like this is over here. So you need to surround yourself with a Moses, right? Several people, one person, someone who is going to remind you of what's on the other end, someone who's not familiar with the comfort of, your bondage and your chains. So
who can see it even when you don't.
Yeah.
You need a Moses.
When you lose sight of it, when it's blurry.
Fact. You need a Moses.
You need one.
You need a Moses. I like that a lot. That's nah, you teaching them kid.
Yeah.
You teaching these cats. No, seriously, you need a Moses. And I would say that's one of the best things that I ever did. And it happened for me kinda just naturally in a way, but say that again, not surrounding yourself with people who like understand the comfort of your change. What was that?
Surround yourself with someone who's not familiar with the comfort of your change.
Surround yourself with someone who is not familiar with the comfort of your change. Right? Because like I said, like kind of earlier, even in this like game plan or strategy we try to make, right? A part of that, of like us rationalizing it or even trying to keep ourselves in it, is going to somebody we know, you know what, maybe they ain't gonna really, I'm just getting this off my chest so I feel better, but I know they ain't really gonna hold me to what I'm saying.
We love doing that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm not gonna put that on y'all. I'll be doing that all the time.
So I'm just gonna get this off my chest, knowing the person receiving this isn't gonna like, hold me to it.
Exactly.
Or push me or challenge me in this, but at least I got it off my chest, so I feel like, oh, I'm now being held accountable.
Right.
But that was just a confession.
But were they a Moses? Like, you confessed to him, but were they a Moses?
Fact. So you need a Moses.
Yeah.
That's so far. That's important. So what was I about to ask you? How do you deal with this?
How do I deal with this?
How do you deal with this? I miss the old me.
I miss the old me.
The old Jordan, bro.
I think the biggest thing for me is honestly that first point I made. I feel like for so long in my life, I looked at the struggle like it was a nuisance. I looked at the struggle like it was bad. I looked at the struggle like it meant I was losing. And lately, I've just been making sure I've changed my perspective. I've changed my perspective on that, because I mean, realistically, like I said, that tug of war, that struggle, when you're on God's side, you can only win. Literally, like he's never lost. He's undisputed champ. No losses, undefeated. So if I'm on his side, I can't lose. The only way I lose is if I don't fight. So that's definitely been the biggest thing for me. So for example, when I'm having these thoughts of like, man, I miss the old me. I'm like, juggling or like going back and forth between I want to stay here. There's things I used to be able to get away with that I can't anymore. And I'm fighting that tug of war between the two. I just have to understand that although it's tough, that fight, just staying in it, bro. And eventually I'll get on the other side of it, because what happens is we see the fight and we give up, and then we end up on the, we end up on the wayside. So you just got to keep in it. And then that's something God's been highlighting to me. You're going to win. 10 times out of 10. I was about to say
9 times out of 10 is crazy.
10 times out of 10.
Undisputed champ to 9 times out of 10 is nuts.
10 times out of 10, you're going to win, bro.
Oh, man.
That's the biggest thing for me, bro. What do you feel like is your thing that really helps you with this?
You're not supposed to ask questions, bro. This is an interview.
He said I have one game.
Nah, I miss the old me. I miss the old me. I think it goes back to like where else would I go? Because I think it is just having like a very real, transparent, authentic conversation with no one else but you, and understanding what life really was when you were there, right? Like, there's been nothing that's brought, like, just look at it and ask yourself what has really brought you the most peace.
Yeah.
right? Okay, this time that I'm in personally may be very challenging. I may be like being pushed to become a person I may not even want to be right now. But even in this refinement, even in this process, I've never found more peace outside of this right here.
This.
Being with him, walking with him in his presence, right? Even if it can feel a little more difficult than what the chains look like, there was nothing that can compare
Yeah.
to being with him, you know? And so I think it's like okay, like the comfort, but at what cost?
Like, let's be real.
Because it comes at a cost. Okay,
a big
like
one.
the chains, but you know what I mean, attached to what bondage? You know, like what, like it comes, it all comes at a cost.
Yes.
Right? And so I'd rather him have my life than me give it to my chains. You know?
That's tough.
Like I'd rather put my life in his hands than it be in any other place. I think it comes down to just really looking at God. There's nowhere, because you know what I mean, personally, like I've like seen like a lot of, I always tell people I've just seen different, like, I guess, parts like of myself and experienced a lot of different things, like, you know, like, you know, even be like before I came to God and after I came to God, like even like backsliding, going back into things, I'm like, yo, like there's nothing that compares. You know what I mean? So why would I ever? Where else would I go?
Where else am I gonna go?
But it comes down to where do you want your life? Like whose hands do you want it in? God's, your own, your temptations, desires, bondage. Like who do you want to hold your life? You know? And I couldn't think of any better or any other answer but Jesus.
Where else am I gonna go, bro? That reminds me of back when I was a kid and I used to want to run away from the crib because I was mad at my parents.
But where else would you go?
No. Tell me I'm not the only one, bro. I would pack a bag, bro. I would stare out the window into the distance. Where am I gonna go? Because although I'm mad in this moment, my mom cooked for me. You know what I'm saying? It's the heat is on. I got the light. Where else am I gonna go, bro?
I got everything I need
right here.
That actually will preach.
And honestly, sometimes it takes you wanting to leave the crib
to really realize
that there's nowhere else. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes it takes that. But yeah, that's reminding me of that.
No, that's a fact.
Oh my gosh.
Cause I swear I was really gonna leave the crib a few times. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Couple of times, bro.
Like I ain't ever really made it out the door.
Ever.
I ain't ever made it out the door. No, that's a word though.
That'll preach.
That'll preach. Where else would I go? Yeah, we're gonna end it off that, man.
Yeah.
So look, we appreciate y'all tuning in. Much love. We're going ahead and just gonna drop next Thursday. Hope you enjoy the holiday with your family. Y'all eat, y'all do y'all's thing, all of that, man. You know what I was thinking about while you were talking?
What were you thinking about?
There's 66 books in the Bible, so I guess it's
you got a good point, bro.
This EP isn't like
it's not that crazy.
It's not 66 ain't that crazy.
You're right,
it's
bro.
the 33 times like times 2 or whatever, right? Like cuz like 33 whatever. Anyways, but yeah, so it's blessed. But anyway, stay you,
stay real,
and stay humble. We'll catch y'all next week. Much love.
Much love.